Alright everybody, welcome back to the Archery Life. So today, kind of like I was talking about my last video, I want to go over how to build some arrows kind of from scratch. Over on my the list here I've got new set of arrows and everything. Basically they're completely stripped out. I'm going to go through everything as far as Nocks Nocks inserts, tips, getting the vanes on there, everything else. So if you ever need to set up arrows and all that, this is kind of a run through as far as how I would set them up. Okay, so basically starting off, when you do get your shafts, now whether if these are brand new shafts, you don't have to do, you can skip past this little part here. But if you've had some old shafts that had some vanes on there previously, you want to make sure that the back end here is nice and clean. So to be able to make sure, basically just run your fingers through if there's any residual like type of veins or anything else like that, or if you have some veins that are on there, what you want to do is just take a good handy dandy little knife here and go through and just kind of get a good shallow set on the arrow and kind of clean or kind of scrape it and just kind of clean it off. You want to make sure that you don't want to dig in too much, or you don't want to have too hard of an angle on there, because you can dig into the carbon. If you have aluminum arrows, don't have to worry about it so much. But basically, once you have these guys nice and clean, you just want to make sure you get off as much as possible. Any type of dirt or residue or anything like that can cause the veins to not stick on there. So what I like to do, so even if they're brand new shafts, again, you always want to make sure that the ends of them are nice and clean. There's a couple different tricks that I've heard of, and I've tried them out over the years. And actually, surprisingly, one of the best tricks as far as making sure your arrow shaft is clean is using some glass cleaner. Actually, so just your basic glass cleaner, Windex, whichever else. Give it a little spritz on a little paper towel, and then just take the back end of the shaft and just kind of give it a quick little rub. Especially like if you just cleaned off or just shaved off extra veins, just basically go through, do a quick little grind on there. Just again, take off whatever little bit. A lot of times, I mean, from when I've talked to people, majority of people tend to use acetone. Again, just to get rid of any type of adhesives or anything like that. But acetone can actually leave a film on the end of the shaft, and that film can cause the veins to fall off. Now, as far as getting the Nocks on there, so these ones are just a simple little knock. It just has a little part that you just shove down there. And then the trick with this one is, I see a lot of guys, they just take it and they just ram it onto the table or something like that. You want to be careful about that, because you can end up, again, possibly breaking off the little prongs there. So what you want to do is, there are some tools for them that usually come in the package when you buy these, or buy the Nocks sets for them. But if not, you just take your fingers here and give it a little twist and press down. That twist, or again, that just keeps the integrity of the little ears on here good to go, and you have Nocks set up on it. So I'll go through all the rest of these here in a little bit. And ta-da! So got all these guys all set up to go. Next thing I'm going to run through and do is I'm going to go through and do the veins on here first, because with the epoxy, I mean, it is a 5-minute epoxy, but I'll save that for last, because I mean, any type of epoxy you use, you want to give it 24 hours still to make sure it cures fully. The 5 minute time on here is just the actual set time itself. So what I have as far as getting the veins set up on there, so I have this little jig here. It's called a A&E Easy Fletch. Thing I like about this is it's super portable. Take it with you anywhere, especially if you're going hunting, just recreational shooting, or a tournament. You can, this is really easy to pack up, and you can throw it in your bag. You can do arrows and stuff if you're waiting in between shoots or something like that. Now with this particular guy here, there's a collar that I'm missing. So I'm just gonna have to rig it, just jerry rig it and just hold it clamped. But basically, now you won't be able to see all too well, but there is actually like a little plastic piece in here that's just a line. And so with the Nocks set on there, we can fit this guy right in, and it'll actually fit it in there nice and good. Now, and this will prevent it from twisting. And then from there, basically what you do is you put a vein in each one of these little arms here, Now, if you want to, I mean, the veins are kind of fun because you get to, choose whichever colors that you want. You can, or, there's one in here that's a different or like lighter color blue versus the dark. Just so that, if you want to put an odd vein on there, you can. I really don't care too much, so I just do them all the same. But basically, you just take these guys, fit them down in there. Now, you want to make sure that these are set, at least with this particular jig. You want to take it and set it down, get it down as far as you can. And then from there, I'll grab the glue. And that's basically just kind of how it looks when you first get it set in there. And then basically, now a little bit of glue goes a long way. Especially you don't want to gob it on too much, especially with this jig, because that excess glue does get into the moving parts, and then you have to like try to bust and break the arms to be able to get it loose again. So in this sense, again, a little bit goes a long way. All you want to do is just put a couple little dabs on each vein. So I'll try and get this as close as possible so you can kind of see a little bit better. Basically, I'm already getting a little drippy going. But basically, a couple little dabs on there, and then you can kind of glide it across next. And a little dab, dab, dab. And then just kind of spread it across. Now, a lot of these veins, when they send them from the factory, they actually have a little primer on them as well. So again, it helps with the adhesion. And then with this one, you just kind of push up. It's got a little spring, kind of locks down. And then this one here, again, you're just going to kind of compress until it's kind of nice and tight around there. So, and the cool part is you just have to honestly give this maybe about 10, 15 seconds or so. And then, even with the Gorilla Glue and whatever else, or whatever type of glue you're using, there are special brands you can use if you want to. It's just honestly personal preference. But this is just nice because after about 10, 15 seconds or so, which probably way past that already, I'm paranoid, so I let it sit for a little bit longer. Basically, just let that guy loose. Again, just kind of push up on that spring, and then give it a little peel. And then, just like your bloomin' onion at Outback, ain't that pretty? And the cool thing too is you can get these that have a nice little helical on them. This one's pretty slight; it's nothing too crazy. But you can find models of this A&E Easy Fletch that have a super tight helical to them. It looks pretty. All right, and then you do have a little bit of access on there. I don't know if you can see kind of the glossy of the glue there, sort of. Basically, just grab you get another little rag here, and just get a little dab, kind of clean it, or just kind of clear up that excess. And then once you get that all cleared up, just set this guy off to the side so he can dry off. If I don't drop it. There we go. And then always go back with your jig here as well and kind of give it a little clean too, just so, again, you don't get that buildup of glue and all that kind of stuff. All right. So, again, I'm not going to make you sit through me doing all these arrows. So basically just going to do a quick little time lapse here. I think that'll be kind of fun. But yeah, I'll go through and get all the rest of these done for you. Now, after a while, again, the little slots right here can get bogged down a little bit. So, again, just little guy right there, just kind of go through and just kind of shave off any little extra stuff that may be building up on there. Because every once in a while, you notice that a couple of the veins will start sticking towards the bottom. And so, just a little shave right there just kind of helps get that fixed up. But, all right, just got 3 more to go. that's how you get this thing gummed up real bad, because like me, I have the memory of a goldfish, and I always forget to clean off the arms here. Anyway, last one. There. Look at that prettiness. Like I said, a little bit of excess on there, but just grab a little towel right here, kind of a little quick wipe off there. And one other little trick as well, like when you're actually, grab the other hand because it's weird. Just gotta be careful that when you put your arrows together to dry, make sure they don't touch each other, because otherwise you'll have like veins sticking from arrow to arrow, and it's kind of a pain. For some reason everything started rolling off my desk here, so I'm going to clean up the mess I just made, and then we'll get into inserts. Alright, so next thing we want to do is get everything ready for our two-part epoxy when we get our inserts and everything ready to go. I already got just a piece of paper here, you can use a sticky note, whatever, and I already got all that kind of squared on there. Wife's got bobby pins all over the place, so and basically just go in here and get this guy all mixed up. Now, and again, the inserts, you're never going to see them, so it doesn't matter if whether you get clear or not. Just make sure to get a good mixture of the whole deal. And then once it's looking good and saucy, okay. So once you get that ready to go, you grab your insert here. Make sure you have an arrow shaft ready. Again, no tip. Now with the hit inserts, so what you want to be really careful about, because one of the ends there, make sure you try not to get anything in the threads, because that could be the difference of you actually getting a tip actually in there. So what you want to do is just kind of get the end here and just kind of roll the end of it in the epoxy there. Again, don't need a whole lot. Once you get it ready for the arrow shaft here, again, you want to kind of twist it as it gets in there, so that way you get a good even coating on the whole thing. I actually kind of take it in and out a little bit. Easy in the comments. And then with this particular set, you have this little plunger guy here. Just take one of those ends there, and you'll actually compress it all the way through, and it'll actually set it deeper into the shaft, and then just pull that out. If there's any excess stuff on the end there, just kind of roll it on there, and then now just kind of set that guy off to the side so it sits secure. And then, because we're doing a bunch of these, again, make sure that you clean off this little plunger guy over and over, just so that it doesn't, again, kind of get clogged up, so you can keep using it, because the diameter on here does, you know, if it gets this clogged up, it won't be able to fit in the shaft because it's too clogged up, basically. All right. Alright, well, we're going to do a quick little pause here in the, so, 5-minute epoxy is a good learning curve here, because I've done it before, but this stuff is cured really, really fast. So, note to self for in the future, if you can find an hour cure time, probably the better way to go. So you have some faster work time to have to, or not as fast a work time to have to do this. So, well, all we have to do is just do a little glue on the paper and then try this again. Ooh, that is warm. It's chemicals. Now the other big trick that you want to have when it comes to getting the insert set in and the epoxy, or waiting for the epoxy to completely settle, is make sure that they're good and level. Because the thing is with these head inserts, because they are inside or kind of embedded down the shaft, is if you leave them tilted up or down, the insert will actually slide sometimes. So if you like me, or if you get a longer cure time epoxy, unlike the 5 minute I did, then again, that's just more of a possibility of it being able to slip or slide around. Now with 5 minute, actually that cured a lot faster than 5 minutes than I was hoping. So in any case, so now all we have to do is just let these guys just kind of sit. That's where they'll stay for a little bit. If you're worried about it, I do know some guys that they'll say that when you let it sit on one side for too long, they say flip your arrows because the epoxy can possibly even slide down. And so that's the nice thing about the fast cure time is you don't have to worry so much about it. As far as like the epoxy actually sloping, or gravity takes place and the epoxy falls down, whatever. I don't know. I really don't think it matters all too much, but basically now we just give it a good 24 hours, and then from there we can just screw in the tips. So that's pretty much it, honestly. And I mean, arrow points, whether if you're using, just have a field point here. You can find these in a bunch of different sizes. These are 125 grain. I like something a little bit heavier at the front of my arrow, but basically it just has a little screw end. Again, once all these cure and all that, just basically screw those in there and you're good to go. So hope you found this, again, helpful. If you have any questions, comments, make sure to subscribe down below there and hit that notifications button so you can see more of these videos as I'm coming out with them. Again, thank you, and keep up with that archery life.